All right, this episode is super important. Finding the right jiu-jitsu school for you is one of the most important decisions and choices you make in your jiu-jitsu journey. Now, this could be applied to, if you're doing a different martial art, karate, taekwondo, judo. This is going to kind of apply to finding a lot of things in life, even a mate. Some of these will apply to finding a dating partner. But today we're talking about jiu-jitsu. That's the name of the channel, Passport Jiu-Jitsu. So first thing that I think is super important is the proximity of the academy or the school to wherever you're going to be coming from to go to class. So if you're going to go on your lunchtime at work, or you work at home and you're going to go on your lunchtime, how close is it? And this is important because we need to know ourselves enough to, what is your motivation level? Okay, I know for myself, when I move to a new place, when I'm going to a new country, I make sure that my apartment or the house that I'm renting is close to a gym, close to a grocery store, and close to jiu-jitsu, within a 5-minute to 10-minute walk or a 5-minute to 10-minute drive. And I know because of that, that's going to maximize my reasons to go and minimize my reasons not to go. You'll have less of those thoughts or none of those thoughts of it's too far, I gotta walk, I don't feel like going, I'm already tired. You're going to have less of that if you choose the correct proximity of the academy to wherever you're going to be coming from, whether it's home or whether it's school. Okay. The second thing, and again, there's no certain order to these, but the second one is respect. Does the school, is there respect for the school? Is there respect for the instructors? Is there respect for the other students, for the lower belts, for the higher belts? These things are super important. I come from a military background. Okay, I've been to schools where they don't, there's just a little, it's not a disrespect to the instructor. There's just not as much as respect that I prefer and what my tastes prefer. And that's kind of what this video and a lot of this channel is about, is that your tastes, your preferences are 100% okay to have, and it's okay to express them. So, respect for the skill levels. Are they matching up just murderers against new people and saying, go at it? Or if they have to do that, if there's no one else left to train with, are they saying, hey, purple belt, brown belt, black belt person who may be a big guy, take it easy on this new person, whatever size they are. If they're a new person, likely their skill level is just not going to be even close to those higher belts, okay? Respect. This one's really important. Third is cleanliness. Because of staph infection, because of things like ringworm that you can get transmitted from not having a clean place. So what do they want to do? What do you want them to do? Do they clean their mats after every class? Okay, do they have showers for people to utilize after class or before class if they come in, and maybe they worked construction, that gives them an opportunity to clean before they go out on the mats. This is really important because getting staph infection or ringworm can really put you out for a few weeks. And even if not, it just makes training uncomfortable. You got to wrap it up. You got to make sure you protect your other training partners from getting this contagious thing. So cleanliness is very important as well. And also it goes into pride. How proud are the instructors? How proud is the owner of their academy? Proud people will keep their academy, keep their school clean. Next one is friendliness. Just how friendly are they? I'll start by saying this. Just because in an academy, if you're a new person who goes to an academy and they don't greet you right away at the door, that doesn't mean it's a terrible academy and they don't know what they're doing and they don't know how to roll jiu-jitsu. Again, this goes down to my preferences, and this is what I think is important in a jiu-jitsu school. Do they greet, especially if you're a new person, do they greet you within a certain amount of time of you entering the academy? Okay, they know if you're a new person. They know if you've never been there before. Okay, and this I always harken back to when I was in Mexico City, and I went and visited and trained at an academy while I was on vacation there, and I didn't know who the instructor was at the beginning, and the instructor who eventually revealed themselves as the instructor was there. And I didn't know who they were for a long time until class started. And that instructor didn't come up and introduce themselves until we were drilling the technique, and they came over to give some advice on what my training partner and I were doing and how to do it a little bit better. Again, that doesn't mean it's a bad academy and I shouldn't go there again. It's just my preference. I like friendly people. I like kind people. When I go out walking during the day, I'm saying good morning, good afternoon to folks, and if they don't say it back, that's okay. But if they do say it back, I like that. I like friendly people. I like friendly academies. Do the students chat before class? Is there kind of a casual conversation that, as everyone's warming up, maybe they're stretching, is there a casual conversation that ensues? Do they chat after class? Do people hang out outside of the academy? Again, we're talking about passport jiu-jitsu, so with travel, the hardest thing about traveling is building your social circle when you're moving from place to place, doing that slow travel. So if it's an academy where people hang out outside of class and they go and have coffee or they have beers or they go watch the UFC together, I love doing that with a lot of the folks I roll with. I have them over for UFC events. Do they do that? Okay, that's a really important thing when it comes to building your social circle when you're traveling, which I think is one of the hardest things to do when you're moving to a new country, moving to a new place, is building that social circle. Okay. Friendliness. So next one is, does the school compete? Is this important to you? Okay. If you're going to compete, you obviously want to be at a school that has students, has instructors that enter competitions or trains for competitions. And what that entails is it's not going to be every class, but they'll remind you of what the rules are. They'll remind you of 2 points for a sweep, 4 points for full mount, 4 points for taking the back, 3 points for knee on belly, and what the different rules are, so that when you do compete, you're knowledgeable, you know what's going on, you know what to expect. And if you go to an academy that doesn't compete and you want to enter a competition, you're going to be a little bit, maybe not down skill-wise, but just in your knowledge of what to expect in a competition, you might be in the back seat of that. So does the school compete? Is that important to you? If you're not going to compete, then any school's kind of probably going to be good for you. Schedule of classes. Schedule of classes and how they fit your schedule. Okay, are you going to be a morning person, go at a 6 a.m. class, those savages? I'm waking up right at 6 a.m. and there's people already starting jiu-jitsu. God bless them. Or you're going to go, do they have lunchtime class? Okay. I lived in a town from January to July of this year, very far from where I am now, and none of the academies had a lunchtime class. That's what I prefer. Now that I'm back in the city, I go to the lunchtime class anytime that I go. That's what works for me. I get an hour for lunch. I go to jiu-jitsu. I come back. And the reason and again, per your schedule, and again, you want to make this, especially if it's something new. When we try new things, they're hard. There's difficulty. There's a resistance we have to push through. So having an academy that not only within proximity of your house or your work, but also the schedule is really going to fit for how your life is set up. Do you got kids? Do you got hobbies? Do you got extracurricular activities, other sports that you play? How is that going to line up, and how is jiu-jitsu going to fit in with the rest of your life? Okay, these are important things. All right, one of the last ones is, do they have classes for kids and teenagers? If you have kids, teenagers, even the little itty bitty nuggets, and if you want this to be a family thing, if you want to get your kids involved in jiu-jitsu, then it's obviously going to be important that the academy you go to has adult, teenager, kids, whatever your offspring, whatever age they're at. Now, lastly, this one is very important. For a guy like me especially, I'm bigger, I'm more built, and the size of this other students is really important to me. When I was living in this other town that I spoke of from January to July, the academy I went to, essentially there was only 2 people there that I could roll with and really feel challenged. That was the main instructor and one of the other students. Everyone else was very, very small for my size. And also I have a wrestling background. and a lot of these students were new, so I still worked on my technique. I still took it easy on them and tried to do my best and learned as much as I could within those 6 months. And it's important. It's important to go with the smaller folks once in a while. You can dial back your strength, you can dial back your aggressiveness and really work on your skills and your techniques. But when you look at the whole picture and all the training that you put in week after week, and especially if you're going to compete, and for me, it's just the level of fun. I like going up against guys who are my size or bigger. I like that challenge, okay? Even at 43, I still like that challenge. I don't get as much enjoyment going with the smaller folks. Look, and there's some smaller folks who their skill is, I can't tap them out. There's many brown belts at my academy that they're smaller than me. You'd look at us side to side and be like, oh, this guy would destroy this guy, but that's not the case. Their skill level is really good, and I haven't tapped them out, and that's okay. I still get a good challenge from them, but overall, the number of students, what size are they, and is that important to you? Again, if you're a smaller person, you're not going to have many problems, mostly, as long as the academy you go to has people of every size, okay? But if you're a bigger person and you want to challenge, you want to train, then you're going to need to go to an academy that has some bigger people in it. What do you think? What's important to you when thinking about selecting a jiu-jitsu school? Or what do you think is important to others when selecting a jiu-jitsu school? Put it down in the comments, like, subscribe, share, and thanks for watching.